Dr. C here again. So you should have done that calculation that we talked about on step 6. So you should have an estimate of how much of the sodium hydroxide we're going to need. So now we're going to do our first titration. Okay, so you have the initial because you already wrote that down. And so now we're going to start adding the sodium hydroxide. Now we know when the reaction is completed because we have our phenolphthalein in here. And remember, it's going to turn pink. Now we don't want this to get super pink. The idea is that it's going to be clear, 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 and we're going to start seeing a little bit of pink. And then when this stays pink, like a light faint pink is our goal. Now sometimes one single drop can make it super pink, and that one little drop isn't that big of a deal, but you don't want to go really past that one point because we're trying to find what's called the end point. And the end point is exactly where we've got that 1-to-1 ratio and we're nice and even. All right, so we're going to start. So since we did our calculation, I know pretty much how much of this is going to be needed. So I'm going to start and adding it. And you can actually start to see a little bit of that pink color in there. So I add it and I'm going to swirl it. And it's still clear. And this is one of the reasons we kind of put this white piece of paper in the background, because sometimes that will help you to be able to visually see the pink in the background. Sometimes you can't. My piece of paper is kind of falling on me, so I'll put it back there. All right, so I'm going to add some more. You kind of do the stir method while you're adding your sodium hydroxide. You always want to keep an eye on where you're at on your burette. So you need to stir, and wait a little bit. And it'll start to get to that pink color. And this is called a titration that we're doing. All right, let's look at it for a little bit. Okay. So you see, you should have seen a little bit of pink. So that means I need to slow down. So I'm gonna do this number, pull my burette down a little bit so that I can get in here a little more. I'm actually gonna turn this so that I'm not blocking you, so I could stir and turn and open it up a little bit at the same time. There we go. So start to add a little bit slower because we don't want it to get too far past. And the idea is that that pink is going to start to linger longer. See, it's already starting to stay there longer as I'm stirring it. So we just kind of keep watching, keep stirring, keep slowly adding. See how that pink is still kind of there? So we're getting pretty close. It's one of those kind of touchy-feely things. So you want to start adding just a few drops at a time. Few drops. So just adding it one drop at a time, swirling it and watching it. And the first time you do this, your first run is always a little bit more, takes you a little bit longer because you, see, that stayed pretty well. So we're real close, just a few more drops should get us there. You always take a little bit longer that first time because you kind of know a little bit of how much it's gonna take. Like I said, we're trying to not go over. So we're trying to get it where it's gonna keep that pink color. Oh, still not there. We're really close though. We're really close. Sometimes you gotta be patient. Patience. I'm gonna slide this up just a little bit more because I keep hitting my burette with my Erlenmeyer flask when I'm swirling. Sometimes with chemistry, to be real precise and accurate, you gotta have patience. All right, looky there. Swirl it up. See, the pink's not going anywhere, and it's a nice faint pink color. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to come up here and you want to read the burette. I'm going to raise it up a little bit so you can see. So you want to get here and you want to read the burette, and this is going to be your final volume for your NaOH. All right, and so now that is going to be the final volume that you're going to put right here. Oh, it's a little blurry. Sorry, we're not sure what there we go. Technical difficulties for a second. So this is going to be your final volume for your NaOH. Then you want to do your subtraction. You already know the volume of the vinegar because that was in step 4. And then that will be able, you could use these numbers to put in our equation that we had here. Plug it into the equation here, and then you'll be able to find your concentration of your acetic acid. So the next video, we're gonna do trial 2, so that then you'll have your second trial of data and you can get your second acetic acid concentration.